I'm Philip Guerrieri. I'm from the USA in the Americas.
Wonderful.
And would like to remind everyone, if you're from Chile, Mexico, Guatemala, Panama, Canada, we're all Americans. Almost all Americans. We in the United States are,
That's wonderful.
responsible to who? Corporations. And the corporations are supposed to be responsible to we the public. Except that the 23rd Amendment of the USA Constitution makes the corporation responsible to themselves. I'm here. I haven't marched in a demonstration since the invasion of Vietnam.
Wow.
So this is very interesting for me.
So tell me a little bit about that, about how this march connects to your personal story.
I have one concern. That's we become a healthy nation. And the only way that we're going to be a healthy nation is to have our government give us a green commitment. With a green commitment and a declaration away from the petrochemical pesticides, we now have the footings and foundations to really stop the war without confronting it. Stop the war by entering the green door to being healthy. If we aren't healthy, we cannot be out of war because we're fighting the illnesses in our body. That's the major war we're involved in. And as the United States goes green, so does the rest of the world. And at the moment, these demonstrations are truly the fork in the road. Which fork in the road? The green one. Where is it? Where Mom put the heart in the shape of our body, leaning left to a higher ground. So what's the difficulty? Why don't people want to be healthy? That's the big question.
Now, I would be very interested in hearing about why you have come out to this march after so many years of not demonstrating.
I all of a sudden, last evening, start listening to my words when I was speaking at the Board of Education and they were telling me what they were doing in Albany for education in our state. And I said, unless you are making the headlines, you are not doing anything. And that is the primary reason that I'm here. And unfortunately, my signs, they left inside the bus because they would explain everything with much more clarity. Meaning, number one, the born-again Christian right, which is the only right in this country and has the Republican indebted to them, want what? No one dare question their Holy Ghost. And who's their Holy Ghost? No, not him. The corporation. What do you mean, the corporation? Well, how do you spell holy? No, not H-O-L-Y. That's for religious people. It's W-H-O-L-E. Holy Ghost, the corporate person. So what do we have to do? The physical public are what? We're the commodity. The government is responsible to who? The people. But if the people are the commodity, how could the government be responsible to them? Well, the government under the 23rd Amendment is responsible to the person. which is the corporation, which means the corporation are responsible to themselves. What do we do about it? We need a green commitment. Why a commitment? Because otherwise it cannot be a fad. What do you mean a fad? Being healthy, a fad. And what's that going to do? Well, we are the most resilient species on Earth. You can't deny that. How many people do you know, maybe even personally, who they were given close to their last rites in cancer and went into total remission for 3, 4, 5, 10 years? And then when the due date came, within a few days they were gone. But they had their reprieve. Could have been longer? Sure it could have. What are the requirements? Doctor, I have an illness. I can feel it in my body. I don't know what it is. I want you to do all-inclusive pesticide and chemical tests from my home and the environment. Do we understand each other, doctor? And number 2, I'm going home. I'm going to clean out the cupboard. Yeah? And do what? Put it all in the garbage where it belongs. And go on an organic diet.
Now, in this context that you're describing, what is the significance of a world march for peace and nonviolence? Why is it significant?
Do you have children?
No, I don't.
But you're a daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And you probably have brothers and sisters.
Mm-hmm.
When they throw a tantrum, they are not throwing a tantrum because they're healthy. Mm-hmm. We don't have our children strung out on Ritalin because they're relaxed. The quickest way to get rid of war is to get rid of the tension. And the only way to get rid of the tension is an organic diet. But it costs too much. Correct? So, well, how do we pass over that affordability bridge? We need a government commitment and then stimulus funds to pass over that bridge. But that bridge isn't complete. Of course not. We have the keystone to that bridge. It's green.
Now,
then the wars will stop. Why will the wars stop? Because then we are worth MONEY. Then we are on the TV. We make headlines. And the locomotive fades into the history books with the steam engine. What's the most important car of the train? The caboose! The caboose! Why? It guides everything when you cut the umbilical cord. To what? The locomotive. Being fueled by what? Terrorists? Petrochemicals? What terrorists? Religionists. The whole globe over. Whose mission is what? To conquer. Why? So they can be sitting at the right hand of the Lord in heaven.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.